Playing Blitz is very fun because anything can happen in Time Scramble. You never know who's going to win or lose a game, and it's incredibly exciting. And here I was playing round 3 of the European Women's Blitz Chess Championship, and I was facing woman candidate master Svetlana Berezovska, who was rated around 1800. Now, we would later see in this game that Time Scramble was absolutely going to happen, but at this point I was feeling very calm and happy, and I loved playing Blitz, so I just wanted to get the game started. Svetlana, I knew, has played for the Olympic team of Monaco, and she's a strong player, but I was feeling very calm and confident, and I just thought, Anna, play a good game of chess. So we were waiting around a little bit, and then after a while, we shook hands and the game started. Now, when the game was going to start, I pressed something and the clock wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So I got a bit nervous, but then I pressed a few more buttons and everything ended up working out. So we smiled, and then I played the move d4. She went d5, I played c4, which I always play. She went e6, so this was now the queen's gambit declined. And now she played this move a6, which I used to hate to face until I realized that I can simply take the pawn on d5, not get into any weird stuff, and then simply play something like bishop f4. So I was thinking a little bit here because I thought, do I want to play bishop f4? No, I'll play knight f3. And if you place your knight on f6, I'll play bishop g5 instead, pinning your knight. And I love this because the question is the pawn on a6 really that good? Or is that just a waste of a tempo? So she castled, and I don't know what I was thinking about here because the move is very obvious. I should just go queen c2, but I did spend like 20 seconds thinking. I think it was because I was considering moving out my bishop first, but I didn't want her to pin my knight. Anyways, she played h6, threatening my bishop, and I had to make a choice. Do I play bishop h4 or do I play bishop f4? I think bishop h4 is more normal. Bishop f4, I don't think it's that good because she can play knight h5, but I was kind of hoping that she wouldn't play knight h5, kicking away my bishop, and that I would be able to go h3. Now, if she goes knight h5, I can maybe go bishop e5 here. So I think that was why she was thinking a little bit here. She wasn't sure if she should attack my bishop now or not. And after thinking for a while, she ended up playing c6. So I instantly went h3 and said, my bishop is forever going to have a retreat square now. She played bishop e6. I developed my other bishop. She moved out her knight. I castled. And now the opening was finally complete. So she played rook c8, very clearly indicating that she was going to go c5. I love when I'm kind of moving my arm and you can tell that I'm about to make a move. I literally have no poker face when I'm playing chess. I was thinking, what can I do to prevent c5? Can I go b4? So what is my plan here? It's a very, very closed position in a way. I ended up playing bishop f5 because I wanted to find a good square for my queen. And I knew this wasn't really that normal of a move because in a way I'm trading off my good bishop for her bad bishop. But I thought, okay, the trade-off is that my queen will be quite active, and now if c5, which is the move that she wants to do, the pawn on d5 will be hanging. So I thought that in Blitz this might be smart, because I think a big thing in Blitz is just to try to be as annoying as possible towards your opponent and try to prevent as many plans that your opponent wants to do, because that will make them spend a lot of time finding a new plan, which will give you initiative sometimes. So now she couldn't go c5, so she went knight b6 to go c5. And so I went rook d1, once again stopping c5. Everything I was doing here was prevent the plan I knew she very clearly wanted to do. So she played queen d7 to try to trade off the queens, and I decided that I didn't want to trade off the queens because her queen was now placed in a position where I could play knight e5 and attack it and get a really good knight. So why trade it? She played knight c4 now, threatening my pawn on b2 and threatening a fork. I simply went queen e2 because I thought that would be a good square for my queen. And I'm now threatening to go b3 and knight e5 and get a fantastic knight. And most importantly, I'm still preventing c5. So she played bishop d6, also in a way trading off her maybe good bishop because her pawns are in light squares for my kind of bad bishop, but it's become quite good. I went knight e5, threatening the queen. She moved her queen, but now I realized quite quickly that I was winning a pawn, as I could go knight takes knight, and if she went bishop takes bishop, I would have the move knight b6 intermediate, actually winning material. So she couldn't do that, so she would have to take back my knight, and I guess that is what she was now thinking about, because she realized that she was going to lose a pawn here. She ended up taking it, and now after the trades, I quite quickly took the pawn, and I was now one pawn up, which made me very happy. So she played rook e8, sorry, and now it was all about just playing quite fast, as we both only had a minute left on the clock. I played queen c5 because I thought if we trade queens, my pawn will be fantastic on c5, forever blocking any queenside expansion she might do. Her queen moved to e6. She didn't want to trade off the queens, but now my queen would be very close to her queenside pawns and I could try to be annoying. So I went queen b6, threatening her pawn on b7, and she had to defend it. She played rook e7, defending it, and I instantly played knight a4 to place my knight on c5. She threatened my queen, and I knew that I had to retreat it all the way back to b3, now threatening to go knight c5, threatening her queen, and threatening to maybe even take a pawn on b7. She started to get quite low on time. She had less than 30 seconds, and now the game from this point onward would be completely crazy, as we would both have very little time. She played queen f5. I played knight c5, placed my knight in the place I thought was good, and also threatened to go e4 and forking her queen and the knight. So she retreated the queen. I didn't want to take the pawn on b7 because I was worried that she would be able to play rook b8 and win my knight. So instead I played e4 and threatened the knight, and then after she played knight f4, I defended. She went back with the knight with only 11 seconds on the clock. I decided to trade, which was probably not completely the best, but I just thought that my extra pawn and the two fantastic pawns I had in the center would be enough, and I was trying to play fast. I went rook d1, defending. She attacked me again. I started getting worried that I would end up losing a pawn because I absolutely did not want to lose a pawn. I also realized that now my pawn on a2 was hanging, and I started feeling like I had messed up my position. So I played b3 because I wanted to make sure she didn't take my pawn on a2. Queen b4. I was about to play d5 and realized that that would make me lose a rook. So I went queen d3 instead to try to play queen c4 and try to trade off the queens. Now c5 was a mistake because it let me have this move d5, and I could now get a protected passed pawn. She only had 3 seconds on the clock. She moved queen f4. I had plenty of time to think, and I was able to go queen d5, centralizing my queen, threatening the pawn on c5. She didn't defend it, so I took it. She had 2 seconds on the clock, 1 second, and here she lost on time, and the game ended. Now in this position, I was winning. I was 2 pawns up. I had a great position, and I would most probably have won this game. But we've seen this Blitz games how much the time decides everything, and typically I am the one that gets into time trouble, but here I was the one that was able to get my opponent into time trouble. So I'm not sure really what I was thinking about here or why I look so confused. But I won this game and I was now on 2 points out of 3 in this tournament. And I was really happy because I knew that this was a great start for me in the Women's European Blitz Chess Championship. Thank you so much for watching, and I will show you round 4 very soon.